Right.
Maybe now is the time when he'll actually give himself that permission to reach for something that's a little bit more aggressive.
I'm loving this right here, and it just shows what a tiger is all about. Sorry, I already ate all the food. I want more food.
Right.
And I know these two games matter based on the rules. I know that there's substantial money at stake. Look, Gary's a multimillionaire. He doesn't absolutely have to win this extra change. But it's 2 games on the line, still to play. Maybe he's going to give it to charity. We don't know what he's going to do with that extra cash, but he knows the competition is here. He wants to close this match out in style.
He's a competitor, and he's a maximalist at that. And I still remember when he played against the entire Czech Olympic team, and he won the match. And the last game was a draw. And the first thing he said to me as he came off the stage is, did I miss my chance? Shouldn't I? I could have won that game. This is an simul.
Played a simul against
the whole Olympic team. And he's going for the maximum all the time.
Not 10 minutes ago, this man left the board, clutch chess champion, and went straight to another board to evaluate the position from the opposite side, knowing that there's 2 more games coming and knowing how much he still wants to take them.
Exactly, and they are jackpot blitz games. Big bonus money on the line in these 2 games coming up.
I love this. This is why we so adore Garry Kasparov and why he was the GOAT back in the day. Magnus is the GOAT now, recognized for sure, but this guy, he used to walk into a tournament and people said, who's coming in second?
Oh, he ruled the chess world.
Exactly.
He ruled the chess world.
And that intensity that he has at the board. You got to imagine him 30 years younger. And we were playing a game once, and he made a move against me, and he just screwed that pawn into the square and pounded the clock, and it was a blunder. It was a blunder. And there was this huge camera. It was a Swedish television was showing the game live, and I wanted to get up from my board, go all the way around the table, come to him and give him a little kiss on the cheek. Thank you for making that move, Garry.
That's good TV right there.
I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I didn't know what the FIDE rules said about it. I told him afterwards. And he said, you should have. I deserve it. That was a terrible move.
That's akin to what he said in the interview just the other day. He should have been punished for some of the tough situations he's found himself in. And I'll remind everybody that as we switch things up and we go into 5-3 blitz, it was those blitz games where Garry went down a full piece on day 1 and still managed to recover quite luckily. We'll see if he can, avoid a slip-up like that this time around. You asked for C4, got it.
I did, and knight C3, and let's go. Knight C3, let's go.
Good work, my friend.
Yeah.
Figuring out what he really needed to do is just play more classically.
Okay. Knight G3, I can live with that, but I thought knight C3 was kind of begging. By the way, with this move, knight, it's a strange way of protecting the E4 square, right? Because the knight, when you develop the knight, you're not playing E2, E4 as a follow-up to knight G3.
It's funny. We see that happen when the knight goes from G1 to E2.
Yes.
Right? Take this path.
Yes.
You've seen that, I'm thinking, Samish territory, King's Indian type things.
Bishop B7. So let's go. Knight C3,
so
let's go.
C3. But the thing about knight C3 is we're in Nimzo Indian territory.
Yeah, but
Little penny
knight C3.
on the knight.
By the way, he's really intent. That previous game taught him that Garry is vulnerable to a central clamp, and he's going for it right away. Move F2, F3, the prelude to E2, E4. And if you get this big wedge, sweet.
By the way, though, the engine really wanted your move,
knight C3 there. I did
Following
too.
the bishop coming out, it was already giving near a 1-point advantage if knight C3 were to find its way onto the board.
And Garry is starting to realize that whole diagonal battery business is now biting on granite. That F3 pawn is well defended.
Forced to play blitz, Vishy, now with no chance of winning, like we said, the pressure is gone, I've accepted a loss, now it's my turn to sort of just pinch some air out of the balloon. You might feel some more fluidity and freedom in his play. Don't be surprised if he plays his best game yet.
I will not.
This would not be very surprising. And Garry, knowing he's got to get his energy together,
Gary,
even though he's already won.
No. Gary knows he's in big trouble. That move f5 is just it's wrong on many levels. First of all, there's bishop g5. How are you going to handle bishop g5? Like, just think about it. Do you want to move your rook?
Yeah. Well,
No.
I just have to block with my own bishop, right?
You have to, and then you lose
And then you
castling
lose
privileges,
castling rights.
and your king is in the middle of the board. So f5 is just a terrible.
Play knight c3
Knight
instead.
c3. Okay, not unhappy. Vishy wants to clamp down with d5 and e4. But
Okay,
that
now
move
you have to go bishop
g5.
e7.
No, but look, but
Now you got to go bishop to g5.
Whoa, he played
Come on.
E3.
What? No.
Whoa.
He's missed a
Okay.
golden opportunity to really take the game. Oh, that was a bad move. If you don't mind, I just have to show you the whole concept of what I was thinking. Bishop g5, rook e8, e4, take it. Oops, sorry, please, take it, please. Bishop takes e4, yep. Bishop e2. Now I want to castle kingside. I want to take on e4. I want to hit you with bishop check. Your king is stuck in the center.
did you just hang g2 in that position, or is this because
That was part of that was a
Yeah,
part of go.
Turn into Mikhail Tal. You're sacking everything there.
Hey, it's my inner child.
But Vishy,
Yeah, no
again, all right, we were hoping for freedom and liberation. And
He's got it still.
but he just played two very quiet moves.
Tepid, I agree. But he's still got queen b1, and he's got e4 on his agenda eventually. I would have liked him to play it immediately, but no, he did not. He
Isn't this
slow-paced
the same-ish?
It's the same-ish.
Nimzo Indian?
Yeah, it
this,
is.
This formation is exactly that.
It is.
And I mean, it's just exactly that. Giving
It
up
is.
the dark square bishop, everything about it. And usually black tries to get some counterplay against his c4 pawn by organizing multiple attacks with a bishop on a6 and a knight here and here.
Right.
And also, this knight is often on f6 when it's trying to drop back to here in that opening. So we have some differences, but both of them know that position. And now Vishy
Has
trying to
improved
get to
his
that
bishop.
position somehow. But I got to say, black, don't give black a couple of moves because
No.
the counterplay will be real before your e4 move becomes a thing. So
Okay,
you've got to
hold
go
on.
for the juice.
Gary has done something incredibly provocative that I would not have expected him to. He's allowed the move d5. I want to trade my double pawns for the f pawn and the e pawn. For example, if you go like this, not that you want to do this, but if you did, this is what I have in mind, to take this pawn and get rid of your f5 pawn. None of this happened
He
because
played f4.
Gary, Vishy played f4.
I know, while you were talking, I was going, did f4 just land on the board? Given that
He
e4
played
is the most
F4?
substantive plan in the position, f4 means e4 will be very
Wow.
difficult to execute. He continues to
I
play in this sort
did
of
not
restrained positional style.
I did not expect that because the f pawn on f3 was shutting down the bishop.
And now he has played d5.
Now I don't like it. It's not the same business. There's knight h4. Yeah, you could take that.
Whoa,
pawn.
Gary took.
Gary takes.
Gary took and allowed bishop takes.
Okay, that I didn't expect.
All right, the game
I'm
is-
confused.
So what? Yeah. So what? I mean, a minute 30 on the clock as well. By the way. for
I
Gary.
am confused. Bishop e6 check. Oh.
Okay, that break that Vishy executed with d5
It's
is
an interesting pawn sacrifice, isn't it?
giving a little bit of energy to his pieces for sure. He still doesn't have a ton of forces over in the sector,
Yeah.
but at least that diagonal control.
The queen is off sides too
Yes.
on a8. Normally that queen would be in the center of the board on d8 or e7.
And by the way, how do you defend the knight? You just,
I think you got to give it.
you just have to give up a pawn.
I
yes?
think it's time to bring the queen back into the game and say rook d e8, and yeah, you can take twice on g6.
Gary
I'll give you
agrees.
that so that I can get my queen into the game.
And done.
So Vishy wins his pawn back, but Gary takes some of the sting
Yes.
out of the attack with the move queen d8, and he's done it.
We also have an opposite colored bishop position where the bishop on c1, this bishop,
Little
wishes
ugly.
it were firmly ensconced here, but it's not going to be a useful place for that piece. He's now playing knight up to h5.
With a very nice threat of mate in 1. We always like those queen takes g7, mate in 1. It stops queen f6 as well, and it sets up f5.
But it's only
F6.
2 pieces, though. Yeah, it's really
Well, f5, f6.
But f5, anytime you play f5, I get the e5 square for my knight. And
hey, man,
I'm not sure I'm scared of this attack. Queen
don't rain on my parade.
e7 on the board. I need
F5,
more
let's go.
pieces. You know, we are attackers. We need to have a rook here somewhere. The other rook over here. Could we make these kind of moves, please?
Vishy. Vishy's finding his inner
f5 on the board. Queen e7, suggesting
queen
a trade.
G5. Queen g5. I
Why
don't
did he play
want
knight
trade.
e5? I don't know why he didn't play knight e5.
He would have dropped back with his queen to g3. But he wants to play f6. He's begging Garry, let me get in. Garry just went and twisted the rook in.
And now rook d4.
Okay, he's getting some pieces over.
This is what I'm talking about, bringing rooks over into the sector. Queen e7, offering a trade.
Oh, that was nice by Garry. He's offering a trade when I can't play f6.
But
Can I
queen
play
g6
f6?
now? But can't we just play queen, just avoid the queen trade?
Yeah.
And then drop the queen back some other way when the
Hold
time
on.
comes?
f6, rook takes, g5 takes on e7. There's nothing there.
Why trade queens? Sorry.
No, I'm saying
F6 is what you want.
f6.
And takes?
Take on the queen, threatening
Yes.
a rook.
Or I could have traded rooks and played king f7, no?
Yes,
Let's go
that's
back
a good
a
move.
move.
That is a good move. I
Let's
was thinking I was
go
trying to get
here.
my...
I could have done this.
That's check.
Check,
with check.
here, and,
And
then this
king
move,
f7.
and then nothing's there.
Nothing there. Sorry.
I say
That's very nice.
keep the queens on the board. Move your queen. The only problem with queen g6, play
Move the
queen f7, and now drop the queen back. Exactly. This is what I'm talking about.
Okay.
So
what
On the
did he
live
do?
board, queen
Sorry.
moves to g6.
let me let's
I'll
refresh the board so
refresh.
we can see what's going on.
Okay, they've made a few moves at this point. Queen to g6. We had the black queen move over to f7.
F7.
Queen drops back.
And bishop drop back to c8.
Let's have the discussion, please. Remember I talked about moving the rook over and over? Just
Yes.
If we could just do a little knight action that
Prancing
takes
and
2 moves.
dancing.
This is what Vishy's after, and Vishy could. Whoa, c5.
C5. What is that move?
Well, he's in time trouble. He's got 19 seconds to work with.
Uh-oh. Well,
227.
Yeah.
I'm seeing this attack gathering real impetus. Rook f3 to g3, and Maurice nailed that
Put the
pawn
rook on the
g7.
lift. Let's go. Elevate it.
The only thing to think about is the move d4, but I don't think it lands with
Nothing.
too much potency. The problem is your back rank. It's just a small problem when you bring the rook up, and he has changed his mind.
Wow.
Queen g5.
But
Wait,
wait,
there's a winning-
with the
there's a
two
win-
rooks, with the
there's
two
win-
rooks, this works now.
Now,
this works now. He
F6.
finds f6, he wins the game.
f6.
That's
f6 is a
the
killer.
difference.
Yes, because now
I
the two rooks are
wanted that
doubled.
previously, but now it works perfectly.
Well, he's got 1 minute and 45 to find it.
Yes,
And
we are.
Vishy sees it. Vishy sees it. Trust
Vishy's
me.
looking at it, for
Vishy
sure.
sees it for sure.
Look at him getting closer. You see that? He
Yeah.
got closer. He can actually
That's-
pull
No,
off
he
this
sees.
one.
He sees $8,000.
Yeah, that's the
what he
tiger.
sees.
Yeah,
Bang!
that's
The
the
move is
tiger.
on the board.
That's an
That's the
$8,000
tiger.
pawn move right there.
And
Gary just
promoted
traded
with
off and
check.
promoted.
Oh!
Viswanathan Anand, he gets his first decisive victory of our 12-game match.
During
over 3
the
days
jackpot.
at Clutch Chess, the legend. Jackpot Blitz game.
Jackpot.
$8,000 goes his way, and we've got one more Blitz game to come. What a showing. Maurice, I want final thoughts from you, because then we're sending you downtown so you can be around as that 12th and
present
final
the
game
trophy.
concludes.
I gotta tell you, I'm happy for Vishy that he finally did win one game. That
Right.
was important. A little too late. The drama would have been still in the match, but hey, better late than never. At least he can feel like I did something.
Right.
I didn't get blanked, because you know when you
That
get
was
beat
scary.
5-0 like that, they said we have your ownership papers.
Right.
At least he wasn't
Adoption.
owned. Adoption. That's it. The adoption papers. At least he wasn't adopted by Gary, but there it is.
All right, Maurice Ashley, we got to send you on your way. It's a pleasure, as always, to be along your side,
Right.
presenting some of the best chess the world has to offer. We'll get you, though, over there safely.
I want to say one last
word.
word. Thanks so much for joining us in the broadcast, James. It's been a real pleasure working with you. I can't wait for us to get together again for Champion Showdown just a couple weeks from now.
That's right. October
You
27th.
notice he
Thank you, my
talked.
friend.
The pleasure is mine.
You notice he talked right past me.
Yeah, well, you guys are well
know I love you
acquainted
guys.
with each
I'm outta
other.
here.
He'll be on his way. Myself and Yasser are going to bring you through the remainder of the action. We've got one more blitz game heading your way, but this is what we wanted. We wanted a freer Viswanathan Anand.
Yeah.
And it feels like
Beautiful.
that freedom there